Hi, welcome back to SQL Database Administration Hub. Today, we're tackling execution plans. This is the topic that unlocks your ability to truly understand and fix query performance problems. If you've ever wondered why a query is slow, the execution plan is where the answer lives. Let's break it down. When SQL Server runs a query, it doesn't just blindly execute it. It first creates a plan for how to retrieve the data as efficiently as possible. That plan is called an execution plan, and it's a visual roadmap showing every operation SQL Server performs to return your results. Which indexes it uses, how it joins tables, where it sorts data, and how many rows it estimates at each step. Learning to read execution plans is one of the highest value skills a DBA can develop. In this video, we'll cover the 3 types of execution plans, the most important operators you'll encounter, and how to spot the warning signs that tell you a plan has a problem. SQL Server produces 3 types of execution plans, each useful in different situations. The estimated execution plan is generated without actually running the query. SQL Server shows you what plan it would use based on current statistics and index availability. To view it in SSMS, press Ctrl+L or click the Display Estimated Execution Plan button. This is useful when you want to analyze a query without the cost of actually running it, especially helpful for long-running queries you don't want to execute repeatedly. The actual execution plan is generated after the query runs and includes real runtime data. How many rows were actually processed at each step versus how many were estimated. To capture it, press Ctrl+M before running your query, then execute it. The plan appears in a separate tab below your results. The actual plan is more valuable than the estimated plan because it reveals discrepancies between what SQL Server expected and what actually happened. The live query statistics plan shows you the execution plan animating in real time as the query runs. You can literally watch rows flowing through each operator. Enable it with the Include Live Query Statistics button in SSMS. This is incredibly useful for diagnosing long-running queries because you can see exactly where the query is spending its time as it executes. An execution plan is made up of operators, graphical nodes that each represent one operation. Understanding the most common operators is essential for reading plans effectively. Table scan reads every row in the table from start to finish. This appears when there's no usable index for the query. On large tables, a table scan is almost always a performance problem. Index scan reads all rows from an index. Better than a table scan because indexes are narrower, but still reads more data than necessary when you only need a few rows. Index seek jumps directly to the rows that match your query using the index structure. This is what you want to see for most queries. It's efficient and scalable.
Key lookup appears when SQL Server finds rows using a non-clustered index, but then has to go back to the clustered index to fetch additional columns.
Key lookups on large row sets are a common performance problem that covering indexes solve. Hash join, merge join, nested loop are 3 different join algorithms. Nested loops are efficient for small datasets, merge joins work best on pre-sorted data, and hash joins handle large, unordered datasets. Seeing the wrong join type for a given scenario can indicate missing indexes or stale statistics. Sort appears when SQL Server needs to sort data that isn't already ordered by an index. Sorts on large datasets are expensive and can be a performance bottleneck. Execution plan operators show their relative cost as a percentage. The wider the arrow between operators, the more rows are flowing through. Focus your attention on the operators with the highest cost percentages first. Now let's talk about the warning signs that immediately tell you a plan has a problem. Yellow warning triangles on operators indicate SQL Server has detected an issue: missing statistics, implicit data type conversions, or excessive memory grants. Always investigate yellow warnings. Fat arrows between operators indicate a large number of rows flowing through that step. If the arrows going into an operator are much fatter than you'd expect, it suggests more rows are being processed than necessary, often pointing to a missing index or a filtering problem. Estimated versus actual row count mismatch is one of the most important things to check. Right-click any operator and select Properties. Compare the estimated number of rows to the actual number of rows. If SQL Server estimated 100 rows but actually processed 1,000,000, that's a massive cardinality estimation error, almost always caused by stale statistics or parameter sniffing issues. Table scans on large tables are almost always worth investigating. Hover over the operator to see the estimated cost and the table it's scanning. If it's a large production table, consider whether an index could turn that scan into a seek. Key lookups with high row counts suggest a covering index opportunity. Adding the missing columns to your non-clustered index can eliminate the lookup entirely. And that's execution plans explained for beginners. To recap, SQL Server produces estimated, actual, and live query statistics plans, with the actual plan being the most valuable for diagnosis. Key operators like index seek, table scan, key lookup, and sort each tell you something about how your query is executing. And warning signs like yellow triangles, fat arrows, and row count mismatches are your signals that something needs attention. Execution plans become more intuitive the more you read them. Start analyzing plans for every slow query you encounter, and you'll build this skill quickly. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and I'll see you there.
Generous Academy.